Well, I'm here at my drawing desk, and basically I'm trying to figure out what I think the size of these letters on the transom of Orca are. And, I've looked at 3 or 4 different pictures, all kinds of different pictures, really, of it. And, on every picture I've got of Orca's transom, they all look different. The letters look different, the sizes look different, and everything else. So, I think this picture right here is the actual way that it looked right here. You can see the stains bleeding down from the lettering, the copper lettering. I think that these are copper letters right here. I read it somewhere in some of the information that I've got, and they're fastened down with screws. And I believe that these ones right here have been painted black actually before. And so I've been trying to figure out the size of these letters actually, and right here I have an indication that I can use this barrel right here. These are 19 inches across the barrel, so this one's a little submerged in the water down to about here, so about half of that barrel is about 10 inches, and that's what the lettering is. As far as I can tell, the lettering is about 10 by 10. The O is a square, and the A is a little bit wider than it is tall, and so also is the R. But the O and the C are basically square, and as far as I can tell, they're about 10 inches by 10 inches. So we've got to figure out some place that we can get these letters actually cut out of copper. Well, we've shown up at the Metal Works in Tiverton, Rhode Island today, and I believe that they are going to be able to cut these copper letters out. And we've talked to him about it, but I haven't entered his shop or anything yet, but that's what we're up to right now.
Good morning, main barons.
Hi there.
How you doing?
Louis. Louis.
You're Louis?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Your show. I want,
Yes.
Lee turned me on to that.
We're here at the Metal Works in Tiverton, Rhode Island, and we're having the copper letters cut out for the transom of Orca. But I'd love to introduce you to the owners of the shop, Lee and Gary. And Gary's going to give us a little history of the shop and what goes on in the shop, just a little bit.
Okay. My dad bought this building in 1961, and he did general sheet metal work. We still have some of the original signage from the shop at the time. But the main line of work that he did was heating and air conditioning work, warm air furnaces.
Right.
So, I would come down nights and weekends with him from the time I was probably 10 years old. So I'm 69 now, been at it for a while. So he retired in 1993, and my brother Scott and I actually run the business today. Lee's my son.
Right.
Yeah. Another boy, Christian, in the business. So our business has transitioned over to more architectural sheet metal work. As you can see, copper is our main attraction. But we also do a lot of standing seam roofing with aluminum. Painted finishes.
Right.
And that's been a hot item. Architects are designing every house with a metal roof now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we're in on the ground floor for that. And Lee has worked with me ever since he was a kid. So
No kidding.
we've my dad was the one that introduced me to it. His uncle started him, and his grandfather was the one that started the family in the sheet metal business
Right.
back in the early 1900s. He actually had his own tin shop off of Grove Street in Fall River back in the early 1900s.
Uh-huh.
We actually have a receipt here from his business dated 1937.
Right. Well, Lee, I'd say you're pretty fortunate to have grown up. It actually brings tears to my eyes almost that you would be able to learn a trade as a young man and decide that you wanted to stick with it and actually be able to make a living at it. Because I think that there's an awful lot of kids today that just don't even know that anything like this even exists.
Exactly.
They have no idea whatsoever. you know, and I feel sorry for him. I really do, because, you know, I kind of grew up this way, not in a shop like this, but in boat shops, you know, doing woodwork. And since I was a little tiny kid, you know, I've been a professional shipwright for 58 working years.
It's a long time.
I've stayed interested all this time, and I just have to say that I just wish there was more of it going on. I wish there was more in my trade. I wish there was more in this trade. I wish there was a copper shop in every town, you know. But it's a very rare thing to see a business like this going on at all.
Yes,
and I'm actually interested in having a look at some. I haven't designed them yet, but I've been thinking about it, building lumber racks for my shop. You know, because I have a Butler building that I rent. It's about 20 feet tall. And one of the things that I have problems with is trying to figure out how to store lumber. Lumber is impossible to store, you know, and to have to slip it into something like this and drag it out and all this. No, I want them like you have for your metal over here, that you just lift it up onto the shelf like that, you know what I mean? All different stages. So, you know, exactly how heavy and what it would be designed out of, you know, I may get into it, but I may seek a little bit of advice as well at the same time, you know. But, you know, it seems like this would be the place to have it made. You guys do the welding and the bending and all this kind of stuff, so...
The type of stuff that we love to do.
Looking forward to a working relationship.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
All right.
Sure, he brought a piece of his boat.
Oh.
When I was 17 years old, I
Yeah.
decided to do a shop project. So
Yeah.
that was my senior high school shop project.
Yeah.
19-foot 9-inch skiff,
Yeah.
8 feet wide, and powered it with 100 horse.
Yeah.
engine
Yeah,
At
cool.
the time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a true boat builder's.
I got two people trying to get me to build skiffs right now,
Yeah.
but I don't think I'm going to be doing it.
Well, you're building Orca, but this is the relic. You know, like we have a relic from Orca from the movie,
We cut the boat
Right.
up. Finally, you know, it just rotted to pieces.
and
so I
buried
cut
it
this
here.
And buried it.
off, buried it.
Interesting.
Great.
Your name is
Mike.
Mike Louie. Mike, I got to ask you about this table. I mean, this is just an incredible thing. I've never seen anything quite like it. I've seen some smaller ones, but I've never seen one this big. Can you explain to me why do you use this? Why do you have this, and what do you use it for?
Well, I basically build everything I build on this table, whether it be a railing or a chandelier or a table, and what it helps me do is when I get a project, I want to keep it the pieces dark down in place while I tack weld it. And this,
Right.
you know, it keeps it in place.
That's how it holds it down, yeah. Yeah, see, I actually was doing this with some smaller ones on a wooden table, cutting planking out for that schooner that we're building, 43-foot Alden schooner. And I'm using dogs like this on a wooden bench, holding things down on a wooden bench. But yeah, boy, it holds it down there really solid, doesn't it? Really solid.
This is Navy surplus.
Navy surplus.
Yeah, my boss bought it from the guy who sells down at Fogland there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let me get you to explain to me a little bit about this anvil over here again.
This anvil's it's over 100 years old.
It's over 100 years old.
I know it's before 1920. It's made in Brooklyn, New York,
Yeah.
and it weighs 450 pounds.
Boy, that is one substantial piece. Then you got another piece of a couple more pieces of equipment. Yeah.
It's a propane forge. It's not hooked up right now,
Right.
so I was using it outside. They won't let me use it in here
Right.
in the summer.
No.
In the winter, they don't mind because it heats up the whole place.
Right.
And it heats up to like 2,500 degrees. It has, carborundum.
London, yeah.
This is the bricks they put in furnaces. All this is slag from the steel you put in there.
Yeah.
So hot it melts off.
Sure.
It's carbon that just falls off.
That's, yeah, the carbon coming out of it, decarbonizing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And then we've got over here, we've got a huge shear.
We've got the 3/16 mile steel. Which this piece here,
Right.
we can cut that.
Right.
Well, we can do a 10-foot sheet. Buffalo iron worker. You see those holes?
Yeah,
You can see a solid bar up to that size.
really.
Yeah.
It's like an inch and a half. Heavy duty
Yeah.
equipment, man.
It's 25 tons.
Nothing to it.
This is 1943. I think the shears are about the same.
What, 1943 you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the 25 ton, I think, is one of the smaller. It's the smallest one that they make today. They got these things at 90 tons. You know, shipyards use them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the newest machine. Sheet metal bender. Thing is, it saves them a lot of time because it only takes one man. Like the building used to take two guys on that brake over there, hand brake, and it'd take them a lot longer. And they'd still be doing it if they were using a hand brake. This does everything and it does all kinds of in weird shapes. You just have to program it and adjust as they're doing it.
Man, that's some equipment, man.
Like this, you need to stop it. You just put the pedal up. All this stuff's pretty dangerous sometimes.
Oh, I'm sure it is. The equipment I use is dangerous enough, but this stuff is way more so. Amazing what's in here. I'm really impressed.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that really is always made me just feel awesome is watching equipment work.
Yep.
And men that run it. You know, I'm not very familiar with anything that's run by computer or anything like that, but
Yep.
I say it's hand done because you have your hands on the controlling the machines.
Yep.
You know, but it's
Exactly.
all about power. How you get power from an engine and put it into a machine,
Yep.
and then how you control it and what you can do with it. Oh, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Just amazing to me. And some of the equipment over there, like that bending table.
Yep.
Wow, what a piece of equipment that thing is.
Yep.
You know, and the anvil.
Yep.
I'm just impressed. You know, I really am. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of anxious to show you these letters.
Yeah.
I've read somewhere amongst all the information that I've got that the letters on the transom of Orca were cut out of copper.
Yep.
And I was wondering what in the world they were, because when I looked at them, you know, in all the pictures I've got, I kept looking at the lettering and thinking, they look awful.
Yep.
You know, just awful. How could anybody make those letters look that bad? You know, it's a tarnish that's on
Yep.
them. You know, they
The
just left
patina.
the tarnish, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then you can see behind the letters, there's like a tarnish running down the transom
Yep.
off the letter in black, like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And we're trying to simulate all of that.
Yep.
So, you know, I think we're very lucky to have come across, you know, finding a shop that could actually do it. You know, so I'm anxious to know how it is that you would actually cut the letters out. But we've got the letters with us on paper, and let's show those to you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is 10 by 10.
Yep.
And the basic image is 10 by 10, other than some of these things that come outside the 10 inches.
Yep.
You know, like the A is a little bit wider and the R is a little bit wider.
Yep.
But basically they're 10 by 10. I don't know how thick the copper is that you have or you could cut them out of.
I got options.
Do you?
I do.
What are the options?
We got 16 ounce, which is 16 ounces per square foot,
Mm-hmm.
which is 21 thousandths of an inch thick.
Yeah.
20 ounce, which is 24 thousandths of an inch thick. And we got 32 ounce, which is 32 ounces per square foot.
Right. So I think the heavier stuff, the better, because otherwise,
Yeah.
you know, it could get bent up. It's not a very good idea to begin with.
Yeah.
Cutting letters out and putting them on the transom over
Yep.
like this, because line could get stuck under them or anything. But
Yep.
you know, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. What we're trying to do is recreate what they did.
Exactly.
So this is what we're going to have to do.
So how are you going to fasten these?
Well, just fastened on with screws. You know, I've got 3 or 4 different pictures of different Orca transoms, because there's been a number of them made. afterwards for
Yep.
demonstration purposes or whatever else, promotional purposes.
Yep.
And they all look different. So I think it's just pretty much up to me. Probably just going to fasten them on with bronze wood screws. Maybe just flathead bronze wood screws. I'll have to drill holes in them and then countersink it a little bit, to
Yep.
get the bronze screws to lay down fairly flat.
So do you want something thicker, maybe?
I think the thickest stuff we could get our hands on would probably be the best.
That's what you want?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How thick is that?
This is 32 ounce. Do you want to cut one out with me and
I'd love to see how you do it. I've been wondering to myself, what kind of tools would you use to cut this out with, I don't know what kind of a tool you got that cuts like a nice clean cut that doesn't have to be, all touched up afterwards. Not that we wouldn't be able to do that, but,
Yep.
I was wondering I kind of had thoughts that you might use like what I would have called a nibbler, but that's,
Yep.
you know what I mean? And use it like a bandsaw. So another
Yep.
thing, the thing is running and you're moving the material by hand, or are you going to use like a saber saw? Or I don't know how you're going to do it. And
this,
and it's
this
really-
material, I just use shears.
just use shears.
Shears.
Yeah.
We call these offset shears.
Offset shears, sure.
So there's a left and a right. One
Right.
cuts left, one cuts right.
Right. Right.
So, it's thick material, but it's soft, so you can cut it
Right.
pretty easy.
Right. Yeah, very interesting. Yep. And it cuts a nice clean cut.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's what we need. That's what we need. So that's good. Well, with all these machines, we're going to end up cutting out the lettering by hand. I love it.
Old school ways, right?
That's the old school way. That's great.
Yep. All right.
Fantastic.
Let me collect a piece of material. What one do you want to do?
Either anyone you want. Let's do the O. Make it easy.
All right.
Midwest. Made in the USA. His hands are 4 times stronger than mine. I can cut it, but
I have those that I always mess up.
So first thing that I would do is cut out the pattern. Doesn't have to be exact, just roughly, so I can tape it down to my piece.
yeah.
That's right.
I'm gonna just cut it out.
Go for it. I tried cutting a little tiny piece of copper, the one that you cut off with the shears, and I can cut it, but your hands are 4 or 5 times stronger than mine are, so I'm
Do
glad
this a little while, you get used to it.
I'm sure you do. I'm glad you're doing the cutting. Yeah.
This doesn't have to be a
No, it doesn't have to be perfect.
perfect cut.
Not
It's
at all. That's the whole idea of it. It's crude.
He was absolutely opposed,
Have you ever had to resharpen those, or they just?
You can adjust them a little bit, but you can't really sharpen them because they're serrated.
So I was wondering, whether or not you were going to copy those down, trace them out or anything else. But this is an interesting concept here. Just tape the pattern down and then just cut right around the pattern.
Exactly.
It makes all the sense in the world to me.
I gotta tape that down again.
Basically, you made a 2-sided tape out of that. Out of that tape. I got you.
you know, one of the guys on board signed it, and I could really be stuck. I'm sure there are a lot of those.
It looks great.
Now the hole.
Yeah,
That's the trick.
that's another thing.
We're just gonna knock a hole in this so that I can get my shears
Sure,
in there.
yeah. There's got to be some way to get started, so he's going to poke a hole in it with this punch right here, and then he can stick his shears into the hole and follow it around.
This is nice pattern paper.
Yeah. So all the things that I was wondering about, all those things are all getting answered as I watch. You know, how would you get started on the inside? I mean, I was thinking to myself, he's going to have to poke a hole in it to get his shears in there, you know, to get going. And sure enough, there's one right there. Maybe I'll take the pattern right off of it so we can just see what it actually looks like here. Look at that. Nothing to it. We can always just tap it down. You can always just, you know, touch it up with a hammer or something, whatever we want. But yeah.
Yeah, that might even make it look nice.
That's
That little hammered edge.
maybe so, yeah. I mean, they look really crude on the transom of that boat, believe me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I think they tried to paint them a couple times, different colors and all kinds of different things, probably to hide it. And yet we want it to look that way. So this is, you know, exactly where it was that I read that the letters were cut out of copper. But as I look at the pictures, you can actually tell, you know, that they're not painted onto the transom. You know, they're fastened on. So I'm thinking, well, they're fastened on. What are they made out of? You know, and I had thoughts about what I'd make them out of. But once I read that they were made, the original ones were made out of copper, I said, well, that's what we have to do. We have to have them made out of copper. So that's great. That's great.
All right.
Again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the demonstration.
Absolutely. Fun to be a part of the project.
Well, you're going to be part of it. Well, I got something I want to show you guys today. I got the copper letters back from the metal works in Tiverton, Rhode Island, and they're pretty nice. You don't see too many things just like this. I've never seen a boat with copper letters on the transom ever, but I understand by reading different things that it had copper letters on it, Orca. So I'm going to just lay them out for you here, and we'll just get an idea of what it's going to look like. Yeah, it's going to look something like that. Now, they're just going to be fastened down with bronze screws, and you know, like I say, it's out of the ordinary thing that I haven't seen before. Anybody cut copper letters out, but that's the way they were. You can tell they were copper letters in a lot of the pictures. It's funny because I've got numbers of different pictures of Orca, but they all look different. In some of them, the letters look black. In others, the letters look almost white. In others, the letters look just totally dark, and you can't really see what's going on, but you see these brown stains or black stains coming out from underneath the letters coming downhill. So I understand that is copper oxide, really, is, I believe, is what that is. And, you know, it stains the wood below the transom. So we're going to look for exactly the same thing to go on. And I think they look pretty good. They look pretty good. I was amazed that he cut those out actually by hand with a pair of snips rather than some kind of a CNC machine or a you know, a nibbler or anything like that. I'm actually happy that it was cut out by hand. I like that.